Life in High Definition. We are in the greenhouse again, talking about personal oasis, and I'm learning things to not forget things. Zach will put them in his shoes before he leaves the house. I think that's kind of brilliant. Only way. Well, I wear chacos a lot, especially this time of year. Like, it's very seldom that I put socks or shoes on. I have a thing. I want to be able to feel the things underneath me. Like, I have to wear closed-toed shoes most of the year. Right. But in the summer, absolutely not. My feet want air.
I don't have the feet for anything open-toed at all. I don't think.
Oh, really? I just don't even care.
My feet are so white it looks like I'm wearing socks 24/7. And at this point, I don't think I can change that.
Your ancestry has allowed you for that pristine porcelain skin.
We're a closed-toe people.
Closed-toe people. So you must be from a northern climate.
All the way north.
All the way north.
Some would say very north.
Where are you from?
A little bit of Scandinavia. Okay. A little bit of Russia, but can't say that right now.
Yeah, well.
Mainly
it's all relative.
Though.
I'm German, and you don't want to tell very many people that.
That's true.
But come to find out, I'm also Scandinavian and English, and doing a little bit of homework, they're all tied together because all those Viking raids and the English and
I want to believe the beard is my Viking.
There you go. You just need we were talking about, I said I wanted Viking hair the other day, and one of my gals in the office was like, Hollywood Viking or like dirty, grungy, actual Viking? I was like, Hollywood Viking. That is what I want. I want like the Mohawk braids.
I want Viking from like those middle-aged housewife romance books.
Yes, exactly.
Like cleaner than Hollywood.
Yes, I'm with you there.
Fabio Viking.
Did you see that new movie that just came out with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock? And she is a romance author?
Yes.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yep.
Yes, Lost City.
Yep.
That is like, I'm like, yes, I need the cover model version. Yes, please.
There was way more Channing Tatum than I was prepared
ready for.
Yeah,
there's a bit of skin in that.
Yeah, a little bit of skin.
Brad Pitt comes in like dashing, and then brutal exit, and then the like daunting cliffhanger at the end. We will not ruin it for you, but very entertaining regardless.
Channing Tatum and Brad Pitt. That's all you gotta know. If you're not renting it right now, I don't know who you are.
Sandra Bullock in a full body sequin suit in high heels. Most of the movie.
In the jungle.
In the jungle. Like, straight up jungle. Oh, absolutely entertaining. Okay, so, speaking of jungle, this will be a good segue.
What a segue.
We are talking today about creating your own personal oasis. Because life and the world is slightly terrible, depending on which segment of the news media you're intaking at any given point.
Yeah.
Or, if you're off-grid with no technology, good for you. You've already got this down.
I hope your butter churning is going great for you.
And, everything's cold or preserved or drying on a rack on top of your camper in the middle of the woods.
Salted and ready to go.
I'm kind of impressed. I actually gave my father a couple of years ago this electric smoker. So I've got the Traeger. He also gave that to me.
Right.
And we make killer ribs at my house. But
ooh.
Yeah, it's like a thing. We were at a restaurant a couple of days ago, and I was like, yeah, we can't order the ribs. They're never as good as ours. It's just not the same thing. Once you perfect ribs, you're not eating them anywhere else. It's not happening.
It's a good thing I ate lunch before I came here.
Right? I didn't get to that. I'm on Luna Bar and yogurt. But
no. You're doing it to yourself. You're talking about ribs?
I get sushi tonight, and I actually was the benefactor of morel mushrooms on Monday night.
All right.
I was given some morels. I finally got to cooking them last night, so I made a shrimp pasta with morels with a tomato coconut cream sauce because I'm a glutard, and with lentil noodles because I'm also glutard, and I cannot do dairy either. Right. So I created it. It was a shrimp morel asparagus pasta, and it's my lunch in there. So it's like I'm gonna have a tiny bowl of that, go have sushi, and then have the rest tomorrow or something to that effect. My day
I'm
just
not gonna lie, it's a little bougie sounding.
Yeah, it's a little bougie.
Yeah, but you deserve a little bougie.
Life is this perfectly pairs with our topic today.
Yeah.
Life is too short to keep bad company, eat bad food, drink bad wine, drink bad beer, have bad
posture.
intimacy if you will. I'm not going to say that completely out loud. But yes, basically, life's too short. Why would you do anything that makes you uncomfortable or... I mean, there's a lot of us that have to. Business owner moment today. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be a business owner after today. And that's okay. That's part of management and ownership. But those are slices of time. And you just have to remember, you cannot solve it in the same state of mind in which it happens. You have to walk away, step away, have a moment of calm, come back to it with a clear head. Now, I would say this for creating that personal space. Right? So... everybody needs their own personal oasis. We're actually sitting on a bench that was created by one of the gentlemen who works in my sales office. He built this, and I see this as a really good patriotic, for those who are listening to us. We are sitting on a custom-made dual bench with a table in the middle with an American flag on the back, and made right here in Jerome, Idaho.
I feel like a very relaxed patriot.
Exactly. And you need your barrels of pots with your red, white, and blue, with your shag carpet, with the shade umbrella.
Sam Adams. And
it was like cocktail with umbrella or a nice cold beer.
Yeah.
It is beer season. It is actually craft beer month. It is June. I believe we'll release this in June, too. So, yeah. And it's another side gig I have. I plan Magic Valley Beer Festival with a team of awesome Rotarians. And beer is front of mind right now. And hot weather makes me want cold beer.
Yep.
Like badly.
Yep.
Badly. I'm in love with this Townhouse, I think, cider, the pineapple one. Oh, my God. That was so refreshing the other day. It was like drinking juice. I was like, put it down. I cannot have any more of this. It's so delicious.
I'm usually a Coors Banquet guy.
Okay.
I can't.
My father and you would get along very well.
I can't pass up a good IPA, though. Oh. Especially the local ones.
Favorite IPA, Lacanitas, and it's the little something something.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not an IPA person, but that one, and I love hazy IPAs, but that, I just, bougie food, bougie booze. I don't want the cheap stuff. I don't like. It is something apparently bred into my genes. Watching my grandmother walk through the greenhouse. If it is expensive, I will find it, and I won't even need to see a price tag. I will find it.
It'll be on your radar.
Oh yeah. So going to creating your own personal oasis. So I have been on the hunt for the perfect outdoor chair. Now, it could be a love seat. It could be a hanging egg. It could be, I don't think it's a lounger because those are so awkward. Like, I'm 5'2". Getting out of a lounger is awkward, to say the least.
Right.
I mean, it is
5'4", so it's not much easier.
It's never pretty. Like, it's this, like, fall over, kind of, like, slaunch yourself onto it. Like, you might look like a beach whale if you're... it's not made for us. Go a couple of different ways. Now, if they made it for short people, it's like shopping for a motorcycle. You need to make sure it's fit to you. And I mean, I have a motorcycle, so I totally, like I had to find one that would fit me. So, I am on the hunt for the perfect chair because I want to put it on my back patio. So let's go to the basics. What is your goals for a perfect space, right? So if you are somebody who wants a man cave and you want a space that's got your 3,500-inch TV or whatever, it's probably like 85 inches now.
Right.
Yeah.
85
curved
is becoming
screen,
the norm.
5K ridiculousness, right?
Yeah.
This would be where my husband chimes in. He was just calling me. I just silenced him. He'll be super impressed with me when I'm done. So does it have your TV? Does it have all your NFL stuff or all your tools for your shop? Does it have the perfect couch with the perfect butt imprint because you've been sitting there for 37 years? You know, what is that space for you? If you are somebody like me, like I want it to be outside. I need an inside space too, though. So is it your bathtub because you can lock the door and your children can't find you, and there's warm water and a fan so you can block them out, and then you have a shelf for your cocktail, your bath salts, and your coffee cup for your tea, and your book, and a candle. I mean, like, what is it? So what are your goals? So how do you use the space, or how do you want to use the space?
Right.
Or is it the perfect chair that you're like, nobody else can sit there except my cat or dog, and don't ever interrupt me when I'm in there? So what is that space? So, like, thinking of my outside spaces, I have a spot on my back patio that I'm still looking for the perfect chair. And I caught myself in Lowe's the other day because I was looking for an umbrella, and those are harder to find than you would think. And I'm looking, ones. Yeah, exactly. And I wanted an outdoor rug, and I didn't find what I wanted at Home Goods, and that's just not something that a lot of garden centers carry anymore, because the box store kind of got it figured out. Fine. There's things I shop for there. And I needed
I'm not going to get something like that at like Walmart, though.
You're just not. It's not. Well, their Better Homes and Gardens collection's not bad, but, I wanted something specific, and I knew I'd already bought my outdoor cushions there. So I was like, I can probably coordinate them, right? So I go there, and there's a hanging egg. Like, this is the thing. And I saw it the first time, and I sat and I was like, oh, this is not bad. It's like $600 and some change.
Really?
So I got to think this purchase through. Right. And it's not just a willy-nilly, like, hey, it's $100. I spent it. It's fine.
I don't know. I'm pretty, anything under like $600 or $700, if I really want it.
It's done, right?
It's all I'm going to think about for the next week or so. So I just do it because I know it.
My theory is I saw it. I'm going to walk away. Mm-hmm. If I come back or I can't get it off my mind, it's mine.
You're a stronger person than me.
I'm a female and I'm impulsive. I would be broke if I followed that train of thought. So I want immediate gratification.
Right.
Most women do. That is why I cook.
Sweet serotonin hit.
Exactly. Retail therapy is the thing. My brother practices this too. You can tell when it's a tough time. Apparently, his girlfriend sees box after box after box on the front patio. I am not different. Brandon's like, you have another box. Like, yeah, I know. Brandon's my husband, for those who don't regularly watch. He, like I said, he was calling me. He just got silenced, but that's fine. So I truly, I've been looking at this egg. So I show up, 2 weeks ago, and it is stuffed chock full of pillows. So some child or small person or teenager trying to distract themselves has stuffed all the pillows in this. So I'm then disseminating the pillows out of the egg, making a scene in Lowe's because I have.
There's a woman in aisle 14. She's taking apart the egg.
Yeah, I am taking apart the display, and I'm trying to situate the pillows on the nice patio furniture right next to it, and just well, that kind of matches. Whatever, not my problem.
Just having an episode.
It gets worse if I were somewhere that I actually worked at, because I could literally blow something up and just walk away and be like, sorry. I will come back to this, but I need a moment because I'm just going to break everything. You would be amazed that I'm a water sign, but I act as if I'm a fire a lot of times. So I authentically my human at all times. So
I'm very much a Virgo. So.
Oh, I could see that about you, actually. Yeah. Hyperlogical, focused. Yep. I'm Virgo rising. Oh. Apparently, I'm a Cancer moon, which just makes me a bundle of emotions. I should be in a crying ball of mess at all times. And I was raised by an engineer. That was highly discouraged. So I've broken that out of my human.
Wow. No. I think I'm a Leo moon, which is very weird.
Self-centered.
I like to call myself a performative introvert.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, definitely introvert, but you're coming out of your shell. We've spent enough time.
It's a performance.
Hey,
the
I
introvert
can deal
in
with
me
that.
inside is dying almost all the time. But
I am constantly an extrovert. So when I'm an introvert, I feel like people are so invasive. I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'm like, oh, wait, hold up. You have your introvert hat on. You must remember that people expect you to be extroverted and charismatic at all times. That's why I totally overthought when we were filming the herb podcast in Liz's kitchen, and I started with if you see me in public, don't come talk to me. I was like, oh, that was probably not very nice. Because those are those moments where I'm like, if I am grocery shopping, I am an introvert right now. Oh, wait, you recognize me? Or you recognize my voice? Because that's happened. Because you'll catch me. I'll look down and be like, am I wearing something Moss Greenhouses? You're asking me about petunias. And it's those moments where I'm like, oh, remember you're an extrovert most of the time. Yep. You might have your introvert hat on, but if you're going to do that, you might actually need some other signal or cue to tell the audience and the public that this is a thing. Right.
See, I'm horrible with that. If I'm out in public, most of the time I'm not looking at people.
No eye contact. That's important.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I am an eye contact person because I
can't do it.
It's innately in my DNA. Yeah. Because my father was like, look me in the eye. Yeah. Look me in the eye.
If I'm talking with people, I'll do it. If I'm just out in the store, I'm getting cereal. I don't want to. I don't even want to know anybody else is there.
It might be something to do with females and our defense mechanisms with the world around us.
Right.
If I've made eye contact with you, this is total trauma, like therapy talk, but if I've made eye contact with you, I am trying to communicate to you, I have seen you. You have no grounds or no power over me.
Right.
That I'm totally reading a trauma book right now, and that is.
Wow.
Yeah, Gabrielle Bernstein, Happy Days. That's what I'm listening to right now.
Mine might be the same. Is if I make eye contact, then I'm acknowledging that we are both existing in the same space and might have to interact.
Yes.
If I don't look at anybody, maybe I don't have to deal with anybody.
So now that you say that, I catch myself if I am, like, say, I'm in Costco. I need 3 things. I didn't grab a cart.
Yep.
I'm incessantly trying to win the under $100 game because I can only pay for what I'm carrying. Now, I can stack that shit all the way up to my nose. But I don't want to make eye contact. I don't want to interact because anywhere I go, I know somebody. Anywhere I go, I know someone or my husband knows someone. And so you just don't get away with anything.
Right.
And especially in the spring because my mug's all over this silly television, the box that talks to you.
Right.
Okay, so going to when I want to have an introvert moment and when you are innately an introvert, you have to have that space.
Yeah.
So what is your goal? What do you want your family to leave you alone? I am in a leave me alone phase right now. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Or to have a place of peace. So my doctors are telling me less stress, less stress, less stress. That's great.
Yeah.
My life is not actually going to adjust. I have to adjust.
You have to do it. Yep.
So I have to create that space that enables me to have that peace, that sanctuary.
Yep.
So what does that look like for you? Is it a plant shelf above your favorite chair in the living room? Is it your own papasan chair in the corner of your bedroom where you can lock the door, nobody can find you? Is it your altar to the moon goddess in your back living room? Like, what is it for you?
Right.
It could be anything. It could be the perfect kitchen appliances with your stuff so that or it could be the coffee maker or the teapot. Like, what is your sanctuary? What is your goal with it? So, do you already have an existing habit that you want to build a spot around? Does this spot already exist and you just want to improve it? Or do you actually have to build the spot? Like, I keep having this I want a she shed moment. Oh, buddy. I want a she shed so bad. Yeah. And we went and we actually we had a 70-year-old spruce fall down in a windstorm, like a microburst, January 6th of 2021. Oh. 9 p.m. The neighbor.
That day.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is just one of those days. And the tree falls down in the middle of the night. The doorbell rings, just barely missed the neighbor's literally bedroom. I mean, this was a miracle. We were living our lives right. It was a thing. And this tree falls down. And here's the funny part. I wanted to cut this tree down because you couldn't get equipment into my backyard. It was going to be $6,000 to cut it down. It was only $2,800 when it was already laying down on the ground. So bonus. Also, no one was hurt and
Thank you, nature.
didn't land on anyone's house. And then the insurance company only kicked in $1,000. But hey, less money out of my pocket. Fine.
Right.
Hired a great tree company locally. Elevation Tree Pros. Manassi and his team do a great job. And they came in, chopped it down. I was able to build boxes, raise garden beds for our vegetables, and then we were set. And then we had this big space where we could see straight into our neighbor's yard. And we like our neighbors. Travis and Tina are wonderful. But it was like, gosh, their hot tub's right there. That's not invasive at all.
Yeah.
It's like the one side of my yard that doesn't have a vinyl fence.
Oh, no.
And it was like, what are we going to do with that space? Well, we needed storage because we have no basement. We are one story. Radiant heat, old 1951 home. And so at that point, it was like, we need a shed. So we went to the place over that bought Con Paulus's lots. I'm totally blanking on the name. It's going to come to me in the mid-sentence. We ordered a custom, like, lofted barn, picked out the colors. Lumber was up, but got a pretty good deal on it. And it's a nice little shed. And
Is this one of the 2-story ones?
Well, it's got 2 lofts. It's got 2 4-foot. It's a lofted barn is what it's called.
Right.
I got the windows in just in case there's no light because I didn't put electricity to it or anything.
Right.
And here's when I'm ordering it, I'm like, do people use these as tiny homes? Because this thing would be so cool. And he's like, yeah, the permitting is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you owned your land, you could pipe in gas and power. Water is relative. You might have to actually like build an outhouse or like attach something or get 2 of these.
Right.
Man, housing is so expensive right now. Like I am seeing shipping containers, tiny homes. Like
just speaking as someone, my plan was to get a tiny home.
Okay.
Then I actually went down and talked to the right people about it. It is such a pain in the butt to get a tiny home in it's basically nearly impossible.
Well, and it probably differs between whether you're in city limits or outside of city limits too.
Because I'm like, I have the land.
Geez.
I have like 4 acres that I could put something on. But the problem is there's already a residence there. It's my family land.
Okay.
Can't put anything in there if it has a kitchen or like various other things that classify as a residence. And if I bought that tiny home, I could only live out of it like 3 months of the year. Then it's like, what's the point?
The guys that are building the yurts down on the river right next to our Buell facility are doing it. You know what? I'll make friends one of these times.
I think some people ask for
forgiveness.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
I mean,
I lean towards that mindset.
I think something's got to happen because it's too expensive right now.
Oh, it is. And it's going to take like full-on rezoning, bunch of red tape, a couple of years, getting to the right people.
Yeah.
It's going to take somebody's child that's in a position of power, so like a governor, a city council, a legislator, to change a policy.
To actually feel the problem.
Yes. They have to feel it themselves. It's just like legalization of cannabis.
Yeah.
Like, even for medical, for children with epilepsy, just from an oil standpoint, not even THC, recreational, nothing like that.
Right.
I mean,
just full
literally full spectrum, help a child live their life kind of thing.
It's huge for seizures.
Oh,
especially.
man. I've got friends who are what I would call marijuana refugees in other parts, other states where it's legal. They had to move to get help for their children.
Wow.
And it's just, it breaks your heart because they've got family, land, property here, places to live. It'd be way cheaper to live here. I mean, and they're the legalities haven't figured themselves out.
It's stuff that doesn't even get you intoxicated at all.
It just helps your pain receptors.
Yeah.
The opiate, that's its own podcast for sure.
That's a whole episode.
And it's a science thing. It's not political, and that's what it's hard for politicians to understand that. I mean, I could have a totally different conversation about women's rights and everything. Let's talk about Oasis. But truly, there is this need for having your own space, especially with everything going 100%. On in the world.
Yeah.
And, if your version is a tiny house or a she shed or a man cave, it's all doable.
I was so excited for that because I like small but roomy in the way that everything is organized and clean, and I can just exist in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like clean tabletops. Everything's organized. I'm a computer guy, obviously, because I'm producing this
all the way.
I like all my stuff set up. I can see everything, and everything is neat, tidy. It just works with my brain.
Not OCD at all.
Oh, not at all.
Not even a little.
Not at all. Well, I have to see it all, otherwise I'll forget it. That's why I have to put stuff in my shoes.
Stuff in your shoes. I learned something today. I'm going to figure out how to attach it to my Chaka. I'm going to figure this out.
I just did it yesterday with, I'm horrible with swapping out like auto insurance cards. Like the ones you have to print out and put. Horrible with it.
No, mine sat on my table for 2 months. I was just lucky I didn't get pulled over in that time. It is now in my car. You're welcome, Chief Kingsbury. It is now in my car, but it took a minute.
Oh, no.
No, we're good. I didn't get the ticket for that.
I'm so bad with stuff like that.
I got a written warning the last time I got pulled over.
Did you?
Yeah. He asked me, do you know why I pulled you over? I said, I was doing between 58 to 60 miles an hour on a 50-mile-an-hour road. And he's like, you were doing 59. I said, see, I'm a good guesser. He didn't think I was very funny. He gave me a written warning. That's okay. It wasn't a ticket. There was no value. And if my husband would tell you I have a heavy foot, I'd like to get places efficiently and quickly.
I also have an above average weighted foot.
I get it from my grandma.
It's
I'll
not
blame
obese
it on her.
yet. It's pre-obese foot.
I'm trim, lean, just heavy. We'll call it muscular.
Big bone.
Sturdy.
My foot would be good in softball.
I was the kid. I've always been a tomboy. So to me, I don't need this pink and frizzy and frills. Like I show up dirty, little bit of smudge, the hair's a little frizzy, no makeup. That's who I am. I'm okay with that. And I have women who are just like dressed to the nines and they're like, man, you're so
exhausting.
confident. And I'm like, that looks like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that's important to them. That's their oasis. That's their armor. My armor is being myself. And having a place to recharge is really a big part of that.
Yeah.
But I am authentically a human at all times. And I don't apologize for anything. It was pretty funny. I was listening to something. I was listening to that book, Happy Days. And I think it's called Happy Days. I'm probably saying this right. Gabrielle Bernstein. And it's really about what do other people think of you was kind of what it was being talked about. And I was like, I don't care anymore. And I don't know if that's something that happens in your late 30s.
Right.
That part of you breaks. The pandemic might have broken it for me. Truly, being a business owner in an essential industry during the pandemic, that made this need for a space and an authenticity that was me to come forward so strong.
Yeah. No, I'd say I felt similar thing from it too. I feel like when stress levels go up in one area, you're like, well, why was I stressing about this thing?
What does this matter?
Because, like, this doesn't matter at all.
No.
This is the thing that matters. This is
and
garbage.
Controlling that.
Yeah.
And saying, how did my coach this morning, she said it, you controlled your energy. Instead of freaking out about something, it was like, hold on, pump the brakes, take a step back. Okay.
Right.
And how she pointed it out to me, I was dealing with a circumstance with two personalities in two different departments trying to accomplish the same goal at work.
Right.
It wasn't a personality conflict, but I had to step further enough away from it, and I didn't make any decision. I said I heard about it on a Tuesday morning, dealt with it on a Wednesday afternoon kind of thing, but I stepped back from it and it's like, hold on. This isn't personalities. This is a process issue. And that's where being an engineer's daughter, I'm always looking at, okay, what's every step of the process?
Yep.
You know, and what I caught myself saying to I have a life coach, and I said to her this morning, I said, everybody was just trying to do their job. And she was like, I need to give you a high five for that because you were able to step back and say, hey, everybody's just trying to do their job. And really, it just was a process issue. Somebody wasn't expecting one person to do one thing, and the other one was waiting on the one thing, and they just didn't connect. And yeah, sure, there's some personalities there, but everybody was just trying to do their job. All I had to do was ask two questions, and it solved itself.
Right.
And so not reacting and having that space to do so. So I went home. I went to my sanctuary in the back living room with my book. And for me, I have to do something that has nothing to do with my job. So right now I'm on R&D on some health stuff, on eating for my blood type. Right. Because I am not finding answers in modern medicine. So I'm taking it like more of a naturopath, natural, with some guidance from a professional approach, just so that I can get my head around ancestral, base level, what am I designed to process?
Right.
Because we've evolved so quickly as a human race, our bodies have not caught up.
Yeah.
And thus the stress levels, we have to have a space for that.
Yep.
And we don't have it built in.
I grew up in a whole like nature path. Like my family is pretty big into it, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've just started taking ginkgo biloba. That's been helping me a lot, just with focus wise, because I don't know if it's this time of year or what, but stress levels are going up, and my focus has to be on 12 things at once. Going back to what you were talking about with the reaction, that reminds me of something that it was actually Russell Brand, the actor. Yeah. He's kind of turning into a guru now. He's
interesting.
He's very interesting.
Watching his podcast.
So that's why I
really enjoy him.
And he was quoting a book where I don't know if it was Richard Dawkins or who. That could be totally off, but the quote was, "You are not your reaction. You are the observation of the reaction."
Ooh, so, that's interesting. We could break that apart and talk about that for hours.
Oh yeah. But the fact is, like, you are not your first reaction to anything. You have the ability to step back, and you can ask the questions, why was I reacting this way? Am I this person that is this reaction? Because I think everyone's first choice is to go with that gut reaction to things and not ask why.
And emotions are not something you actually control.
Right.
They are a response to your environment and the circumstances around you. And having the wherewithal and the cognitive self-awareness to say, who am I in this moment? And how am I going to respond to this?
Right.
Like, so I have two 11-year-olds. I have twin stepdaughters. And one of them, innately, she knows who she is. She is an open, raw nerve of love. She is the kindest human. We could be at a gas station, and the check stand lady, straight out, and I'm generalizing, and this is no fault of anyone, especially in today's real estate world.
Right.
Straight out of the trailer park, hasn't showered for weeks, haggard, doesn't matter.
Right.
And she'll be like, I really like your earrings. Your hair is beautiful. I will have a check stand lady anywhere we are. And this could be runway model status to, barely making it out of bed in the morning.
Right.
And she will have them in tears, just
She's
complimenting
got
them.
the same level of love.
Oh, dude, she is a raw, open nerve. Like, she has the biggest heart of any human I've ever encountered, ever.
Which I think that's so hard to find.
Oh, it's so pure.
It is.
I just hope the world doesn't break it out of her. Oh, I hope.
That's the biggest challenge.
Oh, man. And I'm watching it, and so we always go back to, and I have this conversation in front of my raw open nerve of love, Gwen, and then Aurora. Aurora is trying to figure out who she is in the world. She's trying to figure out what human she is.
And twins, right?
Yes. And they're complete opposites. There's
Really?
nothing alike at all.
Are they fraternal or
they're
they
fraternal?
Identical? Okay.
They're fraternal, and they're developmentally, Aurora's a little more grown up than Gwen, but I don't know that that's a bad or a good thing, honestly, because Gwen sees the world so much differently, and they have so much to teach each other. And that's the next conversation we're starting to have. But I keep asking Aurora, who do you want to be?
Yeah.
Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Because it comes down to, I always ask her, and this goes back to some stuff I read with Mel Robbins on the high five habit and the 5-second rule. Like, what would Mel do in this situation? Because sometimes you don't have confidence in yourself, but like, who am I? So what's the clarity there? Who do I want to be? And what would that kind of person do? So what is a healthy, put together professional who's extremely efficient, who has a healthy social life, a good family life? What do? They have a space they can go to that is that oasis. So you're creating that space for you to evolve.
Right. Well, and you're creating that space because you care about yourself.
Correct.
As someone that was one of my biggest lessons was I would do everything for everybody else.
Oh, 100%.
But not for myself. I wouldn't show up for myself.
Has to be full in order to give thyself out. That is the hardest lesson I've ever learned.
I fully burnt myself. Like even doing video stuff, I couldn't do video for a year because I burn it out of myself.
I actually made a promise to myself this year. I am doing no public speaking events.
Really?
At any conferences for this year.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean I'm not sitting here doing YouTube and podcasts, because I still have a lot in my brain, and I always call it the big brain effect. You just, there's so much going on. There has to be a valve to take some of it out, right?
Yeah.
So whether that's on paper, on video, doesn't matter, right? Because I've got this whole side gig. I'm gonna write a book this fall. Nobody even knows about it yet. It's great. At first I'm gonna do a ridiculous smut novel, because why not? I just got to get that out of my brain, because you don't want that stuff sitting in there.
Well, if you want covers designed for either of those, that sounds fun.
That is actually...
Yeah, let's do
we're
it.
going to find our own version of Channing Tatum with Viking hair. Because it's going to have a Norse background. I am going to the ancestry, 100%. That's actually my little side R&D project. That is what I'm creating my oasis for. And how I step out of work, it has to be something super removed, right? So... either doing health research, or I've been doing Norse god mythology research, because I want to build my backstory, right?
Awesome.
And then I read the smut too. That gets me completely out of it. But I don't do just regular real life stuff. I do like paranormal, like that would never happen in the real world stuff. Or unless you have a very, very vivid imagination and
Ice
you
Planet
live.
Barbarians.
Oh, yeah.
Which is apparently a very big actual series.
There is some naughty things out in the world. Oh my gosh. And there's some stuff that you're like, say what? Like, that is some weird stuff. But if anything, like, those Harlequin romance, I commend the women who read those. It's just too real life for me. Like, that could happen.
Right.
And that doesn't work
Where's
for
the fun?
my... Yeah, I need to completely remove myself from reality. Like, that is how it has to happen for me.
Right.
I actually read 125 books last year.
Wow.
And I average on a work week. During season, I was averaging 85 hours a week, which is April through June. But, like, on a regular week, that's still 50, 60 hours as an owner. And so, like, people are like, how did you... I was like, I sacrificed sleep because I got lost in smut.
Fair enough.
But this is where, again, my husband would be like, did you really talk about that on live? You know what? Authentically my human. That is something that removes me. But I also get off on a whole bunch of podcasts, like Russell.
Phrasing.
I get off. Yeah, exactly. I was playing with references when I was like doing some language exercises the other day. I catch myself saying, I don't have the bandwidth for that, or let me marinate on that. And so I've got to find a family of verbiage to work together. Maybe that's how we make it like get off, or that lights me on fire.
Yeah.
There is always something inherently violent about some of my references, or they're very cooking related.
Right.
So in bandwidth, I think a lot of people have been talking to me that way. And so that one,
so you kind of adopted it?
I did. And then I was doing the Norse research and I was like, I can't use the word bandwidth in that because that is general, that doesn't work with the genre of what I'm doing. So I caught myself going,
increase the bandwidth.
Yeah, it's just not going to work.
The bandwidth's pulsated.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And one of my favorite books, The Thesaurus, because it truly has so much fire behind it. It is my favorite thing to play with, the Thesaurus. The dictionary, necessary evil, I totally get it. But the Thesaurus, you'd have so much fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
So okay, we have gone left to center. That's fine.
I think we've gone over time a little bit.
Yeah, we try to stick to like 20 to 30 minutes to give you guys an idea. It was originally 15 to 20. I am way too long-winded for that, but they're gonna adapt as we go. We'll find and we'll wiggle and we'll find the footprint. It's an ebb
and a flow.
Well, and podcasts probably take a year to 2 years to really find their identity. Yeah. And we're going to play until we find ours. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of this. So with that, I invite you, figure out, how do you recharge? First off, that's going to actually be our next episode is what do you do to light your soul on fire? How do you manage your stress? Little tidbit, I buy concert tickets. And we only have 7 sets at this point for the next foreseeable 3 to 4 months. And I didn't really buy that many during season, which means that I'm managing my stress better. Thank you, life coach. So that's a good thing. But like creating, what do you do to light your soul on fire? But I invite you, look at your goals. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you need that you're not giving yourself? Self-care, right?
Right.
I don't give myself enough time. I pour myself into other people. And it is literally killing my body. Therefore, we come back to health stuff. And modern medicine has not helped me much at all, except save my life when organs decided to get infected and explode. That's about it.
Well, and when it comes back to the self-love thing, or self-care, I would challenge people to ask, would you be friends with someone that treated you the way that you treat yourself?
Oh, that right there. That question.
Would you want that person in your life if they treated you the exact same way that you talk to and treat yourself?
Correct. Negative self-talk is a thing. I actually divorced...
And that includes space making,
Yeah, too. Exactly. I divorced negative self-talk, and I mean that. I divorced it 2 to 3 years ago, and it was right prior to the pandemic, and I don't do negative talk. But I will catch moments where I'm like, I don't want to look at myself in the mirror. And I will avoid mirrors. Like, because I'm not my skinniest, fittest self, and that's okay. And I have come back to say, you know what? My body is not an apology. Also another good book. And I don't have to apologize for the space I hold.
No.
I don't.
No.
And that's where I keep coming back to, how do I be present? How do I be authentic? And I have to have that space in order to do that. And creating that space for yourself. And do you want to be friends with the person you are to yourself?
Yep.
Because that comes down to it. And as I tell my friends or my kids all the time, you get to pick who you hang out with. You get to pick how you show up to the world. What is the only thing you can control? And they're like, myself. And it's like, so don't let the world control it for you. You get to make those choices. So choose to find that space and make sure that that space feeds what you need. And if it's a coffee maker right there or a Keurig with a tea, you do you, boo. All right?
Or 85-inch TV, whatever
With
whatever
the football,
does it for you.
And I eat Redskins memorabilia at my house. I am not the Redskins fan, just so that we're clear. That is not any kind of a racial slur in any way. My husband is a dedicated Washington, now Commanders fan.
It is Commanders now,
it's a thing. Yeah. It's a thing. He's got the tattoo before they changed the name. It's a thing. NFL thing. So I'm from a sports family, but we're like outside sports, like skiing and fishing and hiking and motorcycle riding and going out on the boat. And, skiing's a big one. I snowshoe a ton. We do hikes, we camp, like that's our kind of sport.
Yeah.
Like, so Winter Olympics, oh man, that TV is on. I got the app on. I am in. My brother's actually a retired professional ski racer.
Wow.
And he worked for the U.S. snowboard team for several years and actually did an Olympic cycle. He had athletes podium in Sochi. When we go into the family, we're actually, let's do the little plug. We're actually going to sit down. Liz was reminding me of this today. She's looking out into the parking lot. We're going to sit down and do a family interview where we talk to all the 3 existing generations and sit down and have a couple-hour conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we're going to finish up because I see some fun people walking in. But thank you for watching Bloom in Full Color. And we invite you to go create your own personal oasis and go live life in full color because plain is boring. Thanks, guys.